Hello, welcome to my little book nook. I don't know why I don't normally film here because it's got back support, it's right by a window for lighting, and my bed is next to me to use to put the books on. I figured this out now as this is possibly the last video I'm filming in this bedroom. Great timing! But for this video I want you to imagine the trees outside turning that beautiful shade of red, brown, orange. Maybe they are already turning those colours as you're watching this video. It's getting a bit colder, you've got a jumper on, see? You've got a hot drink, some snacks, it's starting to rain outside, the rain is pattering against your window, and you sit down to choose a book. It's autumn, and this is my autumn recommendations video. What an intro! Felt like a TV advert then, okay. But really, this is my autumn recommendations video. I recently did a video of like transitional reads, so from summer to autumn, to bring you over slowly. And the whole time I was filming that, I had all these ideas for my autumn recommendations. So the ones on the right of me here that I'm about to show you are my autumn book recommendations. The first book I'm going to recommend to you is the book that I am currently reading, although by the time you're watching this, I probably won't be currently reading it anymore. And that is Kingdom of the Wicked. This is an advanced reader copy because this book doesn't come out until October. I think you guys might be watching this in October, so it might be out by now. If it's not, it's coming out very soon. This is by Kerri Maniscalco, who is the same author of the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. Now that is a series that I read 2 books of and I kept guessing the plot and I didn't continue. However, I loved Kerri Maniscalco's writing and I wanted to read more by her, so this is exciting for me. I'm really enjoying it so far, and what I can tell you it's about is a witchy community in which there are humans, there are witches. The two do not really get on. There are witch hunters, so if you're a witch you kind of keep it to yourself. There are demons that are kind of sealed away somewhere, and then there are 2 twins who are very close. They're both witches, and then one of the twins is killed in a really horrendous way, and the other twin decides that she's going to find out what the hell happened to her sister and try and get justice for her and find out who killed her. In the meantime, getting involved with some demons along the way. I am adoring the writing style in this. It's got that spooky, dark vibe. It's also filled with amazing food. It's set, if it's not set in Italy, it's set in like a version of Italy within this fantasy world. Oh my god, the food. It makes me want pasta every time I open the pages. But I'm really enjoying this, and it definitely has those autumnal witchy vibes that I think you need for an autumn read. Most of these books are a bit witchy. They're cozy, kind of spooky, horror-esque kind of books that I think are just really suitable for this time of year, because for me I want like some kind of witchy vibes when I'm settling down. It's cold and dark outside, because Halloween and autumn, October, it just works. My next recommendation is The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. This is by the same author of The 10,000 Doors of January, which is a book I read last year, and it was written so beautifully and whimsically that I just really enjoyed her writing style. So this one comes out in October, so again, hopefully I will have read this one by the time you are watching this video, because this is one I'm intending to read this month. I have been saving it for September. It's September at the moment when I'm filming this. I've been saving this for September because I think it's the perfect autumnal read. It is about a witch movement, but also in the same time as the suffragists in the 1800s, and I love the combination there of the two, because we're going to get some feminism, we're also going to get some witchiness, and it just screams autumnal reading to me, so I am really excited to read this one this month. Obviously I don't know if it's going to be any good or anything yet, so hopefully this recommendation is in good faith, but I'm really excited to read this one. It just looks really good for this time of year, and I love the involvement of the fact that we're going to have some feminist themes running through it as well. Next up is one of my translated fictions, and that is Perfume by Patrick Suskind. This literally tells you absolutely nothing, but it says on the front the story of a murderer. I think there's some kind of an indication of perfume and smell being used to either find the murder or commit the murders. I'm really not sure. The blurb just tells you about a person rather than the plot, which is really useful. But this one was recommended to me by my mum, and a couple of other people I've seen have enjoyed it, and I really want to get through to more translated fiction to make this master list I'm planning on. So I definitely wanted to pick this one up, but I think this is definitely an autumnally spooky kind of vibe because it's got that murder element to it and a mystery, so I want to get to this one soon. It's quite small, so hopefully it should be quite a quick read. Okay, the next one is Slade House by David Mitchell. Now, I read this without realising this was a continuation of The Bone Clocks, which is one of his other books. David Mitchell wrote Cloud Atlas, which has also been adapted into a film. So this is in the same world as The Bone Clocks. However, I read this without reading The Bone Clocks and I didn't feel lost. The reason I'm recommending it here is because this is just weird, creepy, what the hell is happening? This is about a very weird house that kind of lures people in, and someone is slowly starting to work out what's happening with it and trying to find out why it's happening. It's so tiny, it's so weird and inviting that you're just kind of, it's easy to read in one sitting as you find out about each story of the person that's gone near this house and how they all link together and what the house is doing and how it's luring people in. I feel like if you liked Other Words for Smoke, this is the kind of thing that you would like as well. It's got that vibe of that weird possessive power in a building, but I don't know why this is giving me the autumnal vibes. It's just creepy, so it's on the list. This next one I'm really excited about reading. I picked this out of my shelf for a reel a while ago about a book that had been on my TBR for ages, and now I'm just desperate to pick it up because the premise sounds really good. But again, this one is spot on for autumn, and that is Magic for Liars by Sarah Gailey. This is about a magic school in which a murder is committed, and one of these students is going to take on the murder, trying to find out who did it. This sounds really good because it's a combination of that magic school fantasy element and also a whodunit, which both separately is fantastic, so put them together and I am there for it. I've read quite a few books recently about a magic school, and actually the couple on this recommendations list are from a magic school, and I think the autumnal period for that it just feels good with the Halloween and magic and fantasy. Yes, give me all of that for Halloweeny autumnal recommendations. So I'm really excited to get to this one as well. I'm saying this is a recommendations video. This is almost like my recommendations and my TBR video for autumn, except I don't do TBRs, but these are all the books I'm hoping to read in autumn, basically. I'm telling you this a bit late into the video. Next up is Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca. This is a classic novel that I have been wanting to read for ages. I have watched the film, therefore I have a good idea of what the book is about, but the summary of the film and the book as well is that this is about a woman who remarries, well, the man remarries a woman. This woman then comes into this man's very large, very creepy and very haunted by his ex-wife Rebecca's house, and she is basically made to feel quite uncomfortable there by the haunting of the ex-wife. This film is just classic and brilliant, and I really enjoyed watching it with my mum years ago, and I really wanted to pick this book up because Daphne du Maurier's writing is one that I've never tried before, but because I enjoyed the film, I feel like that gives me a slight edge into enjoying the book, so hopefully I can get to this one around September, October time. This next one is like dot on an autumn read, and this is In the Night Wood by Dale Bailey. This is tiny, but it's got quite small font size. I was going to pick this one up in a readathon because it was so small, and then I realised the font was really tiny too, and I didn't think I could read it as quickly as I needed to for the readathon, so I picked something else up instead. But this is about a couple that live in America, and then the wife's aunt or someone like that dies and she inherits her house in England. So they move over, take over the house, and of course it's some kind of haunted, creepy house setting. When else would you read this if not in the autumn time? I've got so many books now that I really want to read. But yeah, haunted housey type thing, definitely. Speaking of haunted houses, next up is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. This is set in the 1950s in Mexico. Our main character is called to this haunted house because her newlywed or to-be-wed cousin has basically called her for help, and she goes to find out what the hell's going on and see what she can do. I love the premise of this, but the line on the back just has me hooked. It says, "He is trying to poison me. You must come for me, Noemi. You have to save me." I'm like, okay, go and save her, Noemi. Go and save her. I'm excited to read this one. Oh god. Oh, the TBR grows evermore. But this, good. And finally is Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas. This is a book I have read, absolutely loved. This is set in a very weird university in which you have to be really elitely invited into this university. Nobody really knows how you get in or why you're selected, but once you're in, there are immediately strict rules that you have to follow. You can still have a lot of fun, but you have to follow these rules and keep up with the standards, otherwise you get kicked out. It's a 3-year uni, and it follows our main character as she's trying to ask a bit more questions than she should be asking. She's not quite sure of the way things are run, and there's definitely some spooky, weird goings-ons around her. The description in this book is brilliant. This also takes place over the whole 3 years, so we see all different seasons in the book, but I think this house, Catherine House, is really a house building to be set in the autumn time. It's just got that creepy, autumnal, dead tree, squeaking branches vibe with rain pattering against your window. I loved this. I gave it 5 stars, so it was really, really good for me. I really enjoyed it. So this is definitely very high up on my recommendations for autumnal books. So those are my autumnal recommendations slash apparently my TBR. I probably should have started with saying that, but yeah, I'm gonna preface it now, post-face it, that yeah, half those books I haven't read, half I have. So there's a mix in there of recommendations, but there's also some books that are going to be on my autumnal TBR. Again, don't like to set TBRs, but I know I want to get to some of these over the next month or two, so hopefully I do. Maybe I'll do like a little autumnal wrap-up summary. I don't know how it's going to go yet, but that was my autumn recommendations slash TBR. I hope you enjoyed watching. I genuinely think that this might be the last video I'm filming in this room. I'm going to do weekly vlogs obviously still, but in terms of videos, I've just today have filmed, this is my 4th one, so I'm prepared for when I move, because at the moment I've got 2 weeks left until the move and I want to just be absolutely ready so that when I go, everything is scheduled and I don't need to have that stress as well as the stress of moving, which makes me feel a bit sad. So this is the house, although you're going to still be watching I think a couple more videos after this one that have been filmed here, because I wanted to get this one out earlier so that we were still in autumn rather than nearing to winter by the time you're watching this video. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed these recommendations and TBR. Please give this video a thumbs up if you did. Comment down below if you've got any autumn recommendations for me. I've filmed too many videos, I can't speak anymore. I would love to know what you guys would suggest to read for autumn, because I'm always looking to get more autumnal books. I am definitely a mood reader, but I'm also a seasonal reader, so I'm excited because there's so many good books around autumn time coming out as well, so that's exciting. If you wanted to see more of my face on your feed, you can subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep smiling and stay positive.